How do you manage a colleague or a client who keeps on saying that they have not received your email or WhatsApp message or Viber message, or that it keeps on getting into their spam inbox? There are clients like this. And sadly, there are clients or colleagues who pretend that this is the issue when in fact they have received the email. Can I get an exclamation mark if you can relate to this story? I've had a plenty of them in my life, right? And sadly, there is no other way to find out. Well, there is. I will show you later. But so far in Outlook, one way to find out if someone has read your email is to ask for a read receipt. Can I get the letter R if you're familiar with that? The problem with read receipts, I have read the email, is that you need to have a consent. And if a person denies the consent, they will just ignore it. So you will not have an idea if the person really read that email. What do you do for these types of colleagues? Well, here are a few considerations. If it's an email, I would say something like, "Hi, Paul, just so that I am not automatically placed in your spam inbox, could you please add me in your Gmail or Outlook contact list so that my email is not recognized as spam?" Because that is the best trick to do that. Meanwhile, I am sending you a screenshot of my email here on Viber for easy access today. So when someone's denying that they cannot receive the email, I automatically, in the same hour, I send them the screenshot of the email on SMS, on Viber or WhatsApp. This way, you don't have any excuse that you did not receive that email. Can I get an exclamation mark? You know, when I was younger, and thank God that there are more faster internet platforms these days. You know, when I was younger, when I was in my 20s, when I knew that this person would always pretend that they couldn't receive the email, you know what I would do? I would print the email. That was the time when we weren't yet environmentally conscious, but I would print the email. I would print the email, and before I would go home, I would leave the email, that paper, on the person's desk. So I sent the person an email, but I also printed it because I want the person to know, you're not gonna get out of this situation because I want to make sure that you receive the email. Of course, these days, I don't do that anymore. Instead, I take a screenshot. I take a screenshot and make sure that the email address that was used to send the email, the date and the timestamp are visible. So it's a reference for the person to know. If you're checking in your inbox, try to check it at this date and time, and that this is the email address. Okay. Sometimes it also happens, you show the email address that you used to find out if you really captured the correct email address. If that conversation was on SMS or instant messenger, and the person keeps on saying, I didn't receive anything, say something like, "Hi, Jean, let me give you a missed call now and tell me if you're getting it." This way, you have full assurance that you got the mobile number correctly. This will help me check if we both have the same number. Okay, does that work? Can I get another exclamation mark? That works always, all the time. Whenever I threaten, I'm going to use the word threaten, quote and unquote, I threaten the person to give them a missed call, they start realizing I have no way out of this. I will be caught if I'm lying that I couldn't receive their SMS or their Viber. Okay? Because on instant messengers, guys, there is a way to deactivate the read receipt, right? The scene zone, the double check mark, there's a way to deactivate that. The only catch is if you deactivate that, you will also not be able to see other people's messages if they have read it. That's visible on WhatsApp and also on Viber. Okay. Question also, and I think you should all be aware of this by now. When someone blocks you on Viber or WhatsApp, what is the best way to find that out? What is the number one clue? When someone blocks you, can you please type in the chat box? There is a way to find out. Can you please type? What is the easiest way to find out if someone has blocked you on WhatsApp, Viber, or any other platform? Anyone? I'll give you a few seconds. You should know this by now, guys. I'm sure you've seen them. You can't search them. Okay, that's one. You cannot search them. But what if you have been talking to each other for a few days already? How do you know if the person blocked you afterwards? There's no check mark? Not really, guys, because if the person has deactivated this feature from the very start, then there is no difference if the person blocked you or unblocked you. Anyone? You've talked to each other for 2 weeks. You're selling something to the customer. The customer got irritated with you, so they blocked you. How do you find out? I'm surprised no one's able to answer this correctly. The correct answer is look at the profile picture. At the beginning, a profile picture usually appears when you're talking to each other. But when the person blocks you, that profile picture disappears. Can I get an exclamation mark? So do that next time. You will notice that's the situation. When their profile picture disappears, they have blocked you. That applies for both Viber and WhatsApp. Okay? On Facebook, it's easier because it says unknown user. But Facebook is a different ball game because it doesn't have a mobile number. All right?